Hello, this is Eric Lee again, and it's been a little while since I made a video. I've been meaning to do so, but our family was moving, and all the crazy things in life that happen. It's just very complicated right now. So I apologize for not making videos on a regular basis, but I had to correct some. Um, a big mistake that I made. I did say that this second law of motion of Newton was actually the formula for the gravitational forces, and that's not correct. So sorry for that. I'm not trying to put disinformation out there. That's the last thing I want to do. I was trying to explain my theory of it's called the multiverse leak down theory, uh, a cyclic universe, and I'm finding out actually that it coincides um, uh, with string theory. I've been getting a lot of like videos through whatever algorithm or AI. Maybe they saw what I was saying or um, putting on the internet, and uh, it's some very late like information. Recent stuff, I should say, up to date stuff, and I didn't realize that some of the top physicists in the world are actually saying pretty much what I'm figuring out through some of the things that, yeah, bits and pieces, tidbits of information I'm picking up. Information, as I said, I've already known before years ago. As a kid, I was always into science and physics, and I always was the kid that asked, well, why does this happen, and why does, I just had this, even this big book of, it was called the Big Book of Why. And anyway, uh, the um, it turns out that string theory has like 11 people who are presenting theories that are the most prominent theories, and they put them together and they call it quantum gravity theory, if am saying this right. And they presented some really interesting information that I recently saw that has everything to do with what I'm talking about. And but the astounding thing is that, yeah, I um, have come up with the same conclusions in a kind of different way, and I don't know whose is more elegant. I mean, I don't have of course, the mathematical skills, but I see the relations in the numbers and the things being said. But uh, I mean, I got fairly, I took the college courses in high school and whatnot, and it was a very good high school, SBHS. Um, and it was a very, very good school with some excellent instructors and teachers. Unfortunately, I slept through a lot of classes and still got C's and whatnot in trigonometry, algebra 3, and got to pre-calculus and whatnot. But anyway, sorry for the going back to my apology. uh, the real formula for the force of gravity is this, and this is the force of gravity. And right now, I don't want to get into explaining the formula because that's not what this video is about. But I did have a revelation in my own theory. I was saying that these unseen particles, which is probably string particles, um, from what I'm gathering. I called them like Keku particles. I said it could have been dark matter or whatever, and it's just that you can't have distortion of basically space uh, and time in a void. There has to be something there that we still haven't detected, and as I mentioned, the colliders that they've created prove that, because they end up with extra matter that they didn't have in the experiment, and they have no explanation for that. And so now physicists are saying, well, I can't remember the word they used. There's something outside of what their calculations are, like what they imagine was a complete vacuum isn't actually not exactly a vacuum. There's something else within that vacuum that they haven't put into the equation. So they're realizing this through quantum gravity theory, and and, and crazy enough, I deduced this scientifically, logically, I should say, in my own crazy brain. And but anyway, what I stated last time was these string particles, which is gravity itself, they gather around um, uh, a planetary body or a star. And I just asked myself just before this apology just popped into my head. I was thinking, well, how would these um, um, this matter or energy, string particles, uh, um, uh, form around these bodies? Are they literally accelerating to the mass to create this force? And actually, yeah, it's kind of interesting. I used the second law of Newton's motion formula, because it sort of kind of correlates to what I'm talking about in certain ways, and even Einstein's thing about if you travel the speed of light, you increase in mass, because that just struck me just before I just made this video. It just popped into my head. Well, maybe it's not that this string matter is accelerating towards us. Maybe it's because we're accelerating through the universe. And what happens is, we're let's say the star is drifting through the universe, or falling through it, or however you want to express it. We're traveling through the universe like 10,000 kilometers per second, per parsec, something. I can't remember what exactly they said, but you get the idea. So when we're falling through space, which we thought was a void, it's full of particles. Actually, it has to be. And these particles, they are, surrounding the uh, falling object, which is, let's say, this star. And as it falls around, you get a negative side and a positive side, just from the motion of falling through these superpositioned string particles. You might say um, they're so small and a different frequency from our um, universe, that there's we can only get a glimpse of them, or some sort of like uh, do they call it causality, or the effects of it, more than we see the effects of it. We can't just literally say, "Hey, there it is." Even like electrons, we have a you know means of putting it into some sort of electromagnetic field and maybe shooting it through these colliders somehow. I don't know what that process is exactly. I haven't researched into that. But basically, when um, a massive body like a star falls through space, these particles are being compressed around it. So yeah, either it could be what I said in the beginning, where these particles are attracted to mass, and they do not only they become the distortion of space um, and time itself um, by coming um, by being attracted to mass, um, and or in actuality, it could be because we're actually just we're the ones moving through the sea of these particles. And what that does is it creates a negative and a positive effect, as I said. And that's why we have, um, like, say, a positive pole and a negative pole. And interestingly enough, because we're traveling at a pretty fast rate, what I learned through another book of, it was a book on sailing and navigation. They stripped away all the water from the planet Earth, and they did these um, imaging through satellites and whatnot, and they found out that the southern portion of the planet is much more dense than the northern hemisphere. And I thought that's really odd. It's like, is it just maybe at that time? That was quite a while back. I thought maybe, well, is Earth resting on some sort of sea of like substance that we're not detecting? So anyway, this is a very interesting concept that I think I'm bringing up, and I don't know if other physicists have considered this. And so I'll end the video here, and that would explain again the difference why we have basically a positive and negative pole to our planetary bodies and even to the sun and whatnot. So thank you for listening. This is the end of my video for today, and I promise I'll get to the explanation of time. Um, but like I said, I was just in a process of moving with my family, and then I've got other issues in my life that I'm dealing with. It's it's pretty crazy, but that's why I also I don't have like any speeches or things that I've taken all day to write or prepare for. These are all just like right off the top of my head, and this idea of us falling through this matter to have it surround us and distort the space time around us just popped into my head for real. It just it was kind of like an interesting moment. And I hope you find it interesting also. But thank you. I appreciate you listening to my videos. And I see I'm getting some real interest in, or not big, I think it's like 50 some impressions. The last time I saw it was close to 60 impressions on my video, especially the one about the speed of light limitation thing. Anyway, um, there are people looking at it here and there. Hopefully, they don't think it's some kind of like fuzzy tinfoil hat stuff, because I think I'm really onto something here. And anyway, uh, thank you for watching, and keep a sense of humor. And sorry for that was my one of my duh moments, telling you the wrong information that what that formula was. This is the real formula for gravity, the force of gravity from Newton, Sir Isaac Newton. And but anyway, thank you again. I keep thanking you. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.